What is going on, guys? It's Dealer here, back again with RDX Podcast. We got a phenomenal panel. We've got some great topics, some early review information on Crackdown 3, and I think it's going to surprise quite a few people. Some really good stuff. We got so many topics, I couldn't fit a quarter of them into the title. So I hope you guys are grabbing something to eat, grabbing something to drink, hit that like button. Let's get into some intros real quick, let some people file in, and then we will proceed to some of the other stuff on the docket. So, Cole Eastwood, what's going on, bud? Thanks for joining us once again.
It's good to be back to RDX. I had a fantastic week. I was pretty excited to get a nice T-shirt in the mail from Aaron Greenberg that had a little studio graphic on it. So that was like a big highlight of the week, and it's kind of carrying me over, and I'm just dancing around and frolicking in the tulips. That's been cool. It's been cool.
Who can say they got a T-shirt from Aaron Greenberg? Who can say that?
Just a few people.
And not only that, who can say they got a T-shirt from Aaron Greenberg that they actually fucking designed? Who can say that?
That's really cool. It's cool.
Very few people. Good job, Colt. We're very proud of you. You've come a long way. From the dumpster in a year, you've come a long way. So, yeah, should be a great show. You know what? And this will be a nice change of pace. D is coming, I guess. I don't know. You know, I think he got in a fight with his dreads, and he might have lost. So he'll be here maybe soon. We don't know. So we'll definitely kind of introduce him as he comes along. It'll be a nice change of pace either way. Last week we had Brad Sams on the show, the guy who leaked all the Scarlet stuff. And this week we can kind of rant and talk and just do our usual thing. So once more, thank all of you for joining us early. Zalker, thank you for joining us early.
Of course, man. It's glad to be here. RDX is back. It's freaking awesome. We have some pretty damn decent topics coming up for everybody to talk about. I didn't get a T-shirt or anything from Aaron Greenberg, which makes me sad. Way to go, Colt. Fucking humble brag over there. But what I did get is I did pass 600 subscribers on my channel, so I'm very happy about that. So, yeah, thanks, everybody in the community, and Dealer, Colt, everybody. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, good job, man. You deserve it. You put out content. As
opposed to just being on RDX, I guess.
Well, yeah, you got to supply content for your channel. So Zalker's really good at taking advice. He's a smart guy, and you know what? He's definitely doing a lot better, especially production-wise, than I was when I first started. So YouTube was just a different thing back then. So once again, Zalker, thanks for joining us once again. Chrissy Smooth, we got the Sesh Empire coming back once again this week. What's going on, brother?
Oh, everything's going on, Dealer, as always. As you know, I missed last week. I was celebrating the day of my birth. That's the way it had to go down. It was a fantastic time, but I bounced around the community a little bit last week, if anyone caught me out there. I love doing that, too. But it's RDX time, man. We got awesome topics tonight. It's going to be going down. Let's get her done.
Auto-sharing to tweets.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yes, Starbuck. We've heard about that. Yeah, I don't do it anyway, honestly, because I kind of agree with them in a way that, it just seems a little less automated, less personal. It doesn't hurt to type a little message on there. So we do have to give a shout out real quick. And let me know if D jumps in, because I'm not in the podcast hangout thing. But we do got to give a shout out to the people of Power the Show: Captain Redbeard, Lethal Papa, Darish Knight, Prime Suspect, Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo, and of course, our sponsors are absolutely phenomenal. You guys fucking rock, and you're the reason that I can give away so many great games on Patreon. So if you want to be a sponsor, check that out. Other tiers down there as well. And let's start with a goodie, but maybe ones some people have heard about while we let some people file in. PlayStation games advertised on Verizon streaming service, God of War, and so much more. Zalker, what the hell is going on here?
Verizon is jumping into the game streaming service. They're calling it Verizon Gaming. It's already up and running on the NVIDIA Shield setup box. They're having a bunch of people, quietly recruiting players to take part in testing. They're giving them like $150 gift cards or $200 to like test it. They're going pretty hard in it right now. This was reported by The Verge, apparently, and a lot of these streaming servers are trying to find people, like, reasons for them to go on it. And the big news about it was on their graphic that they had showing the UI of the Verizon Gaming was PS4 exclusives like God of War, Knack, and Detroit Become Human. Pretty crazy.
Shout out to Javier in the chat. Yeah, it was a real graphic. It was part of their promotional material. I'm not quite sure this is actually legal unless they are actually planning on bringing those games to their service. Would you say, Shady?
Yeah, I would. It kind of feels like the accidental leak from, who did it with the Gears Tactics there? And it got pulled back. Razer. It's kind of like that's not the way these companies like to advertise, to reveal these types of things, perhaps. So, I mean, it is false advertising if it's not there. Verizon might get their finger slapped for that one. But, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I am a huge believer that the day of the quote-unquote console-only exclusive is dying fast. And I think it deserves to. It doesn't have a place here anymore. I'd rather play these games anywhere I want. That just doesn't matter. Playing it on the one console, it's ridiculous. It's limiting sales. Spider-Man would sell more. Halo would sell more if it was sold everywhere to the masses. Yeah. Microsoft's wording is certainly going along those lines. Nintendo even has come out recently and started speaking very similar. And I'd be shocked if Sony wasn't going to be doing something like this as well. So I'm not shocked at all. I think it's nice to see. I'd much rather be able to buy the games from Sony that I enjoy without having to buy a PlayStation, because that's all I do with it is a few games, and I'm tired of spending hundreds of dollars every few years on a console to do so.
And that's what makes them all their money too, is that software. Casper says, I guess PS4 has no games, and that's something that I've been hearing a lot of. Now, keep in mind that we don't really revel in this. As a matter of fact, we've been saying this for ever, that it's kind of inevitable that eventually you'll just sign into your PSN or your Xbox Live, and you know, whatever device you're on, if there's an application for it, you will just be able to play your games from it, right? Makes perfect sense. We've already seen it with Sony. They put their PlayStation Now up on TVs. They've had their dedicated PlayStation Now TV box, and also they're bringing PS Now to mobile as well, as we told you they would, through a leaked job posting. And I've done a video on this if you want the source. It's there. It's kind of recent. Yeah, they're bringing their games through PS Now to any device, every device, quote unquote. So this isn't anything that anybody with a brain didn't see coming. There's a lot of people that dispute this, but they're the same people that disputed crossplay and said that would never happen too, right? They're the same people that disputed almost everything that is pro-consumer. They, you know, if Sony changed their mind, I notice a lot of people on that side of the fence change their mind randomly. And that's not very healthy, because they're not thinking about themselves, right?
Yeah, there are people that shore up fences on their platform. They don't want other people in there. They don't want other people playing the same thing they have on their console. And I know it sounds dumb, but I really didn't want to buy a PlayStation 4. I would rather have just kept buying games. I did, and I'm glad I did, because I got to play Uncharted and God of War and Spider-Man, stuff like that. But, you know, when you think about it, it's like, I don't want two consoles. And we don't always, we'd rather just buy one thing and just play everything there and not have to move around and switch controllers. Just kind of, Shitty's right. Like, there's going to come a time where you just log in, and just like you do with your movies and your music, you play them where you want and when you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's a smart idea. I mean, sorry if I interrupted you, but I feel like it's a smart idea. I mean, Verizon really takes their network seriously. I know Xfinity uses their network as a piggy bank for their mobile network, and Verizon is the best in the country by far. They have 145 million users, and they're looking for ways to always edge out AT&T. I mean, you've seen these promos like, you get HBO for 40 years if you come join us, right? Like shit like that. That's what these people are trying to do. AT&T, T-Mobile, everybody. They're trying to get an edge over their competitors, and it's big business. And Verizon is no different. And this is a big business decision that they probably did to put interlacing with their network and on the devices that they have, which can reach an obscene amount of people.
Yep.
And the simple fact that they have
D is here.
The simple fact that they have fiber optics, like, come on, man, like optimal for streaming games. So
hey,
real quick there, because I know you can't
see. Shout out to Drama Free Gaming real quick in the super chat. He just says, just showing some love to the RDX cast. You all are great. Thank you so much. I see him in the chat and the comment section of videos all the time, man.
Yeah, I do too.
We do appreciate it, brother. And I want to say welcome to D-Batch as well, you late motherfucker. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry. Someone ordered two computers today. They want CAD on it, so I had to build two computers consisting of 1070s. So sorry, man. Money was calling.
It's all good. We just told everyone you got in a fight with your dreads and you lost.
I'm bald now.
That's all. Shady, what were you saying, Shady?
Oh, it was just that. I wasn't sure if you could see the chat or not yet, so I was going to bring up that super chat.
Yeah. So D, kind of give us your thoughts real quick on, why would Verizon market this? Because this is official marketing material. It was a leak. We know this service exists. It's showing you that God of War and other PS4 exclusives are coming to that service. What is the deal here, D? And what do you think the likelihood is of this not being a mistake? Is it better yet? Is it even possible for it to be a mistake? Isn't that lawsuit worthy?
First of all, I've heard that it was a troller that put that picture up, and that none of that's accurate. It's an inaccurate troll picture. No. Let's just be honest here. If there was something not to be believed of that claim, Sony would have came out and said something already. Definitely. Okay,
because good point.
This has been hitting the airwaves. It's been live for at least 3 days, and Sony's been mum on the situation. So right there, that kind of tells me that this is leading to the truth. Number two, why would Sony not want their exclusives everywhere? Microsoft has an advantage where they're not just held to the Xbox platform. They can put their games on the PC too. Now I know that Sony's got PlayStation Now, but it's not fully forged yet. Like, it's not everything is on there yet. They're bangers, they're number one exclusives. They're not really on that service yet. It's more like the older exclusives that they had. So I see the industry going this way. If you're a game developer, or if you're just forget about games in general, if you're somebody that's selling an item, you want that item to go out to as many people as possible. The more people that you're exposed to, the more potential customers you can have. And we're seeing the industry go this way. Google is doing their stream thing. We know Microsoft is doing it. We saw the leaked documents of Sony doing it. Verizon is now doing it. People, this is a thing. This is happening.
Mm-hmm. Also, businesses exist to create money. So if you want to sell and make more money, you need more users. So I think you got a good point. Sony probably would have come out and said, hey, that's our God of War. Get the fuck out of here. And also, when you say they want to bring their stuff to more people, we also know that's true because of a job listing from Sony themselves. Mm-hmm. I love it when people say, there's nothing official. That's a official job listing from Sony. What are you talking about? So, KOG Mirage is kind of upset that we're talking about this, but, you know what, guy, I don't know what to tell you, bud. If it upsets you that much that we're talking about this, then, kind of think about why you're so upset that we're talking about what has already been discussed and what is actually a thing,
It's not official, but he put in his his resume for that job posting, but it's not official.
You know what? The only people that this affects, let's be honest, are fanboys. And
yep.
I'll be honest, I'll say this to the fanboys. You know what? I don't think those PlayStation games are going to appear on another console per se, like Microsoft or Nintendo. But I do think we're going to see even some of the Microsoft titles. I think we're going to see them on streaming devices. I just think this is the way that this is what's happening. Get with it, man.
Yeah, you're right. It's the only people who care about that and want to be locked down to only one device instead of wherever you want for that same money that you pay for the game. You should be able to play for wherever you want, right? Why do you want to be locked down to one platform? How does that benefit you at all? The answer is it doesn't. So the best thing is be able to play it wherever you want, and that's the better, more pro-consumer option. If you're upset about that, then I might go back and rewind and listen to what D just said again.
I want to squash something else. Like a lot of people complain about, nobody wants to play on their phones, or nobody wants to play on a tablet, and that's going to kill phone batteries, and no internet's not going to be able to handle it. It's like just take a break. Ask yourself if this is something for you. Maybe you'll never have time to play outside your home, so it's not going to appeal to you. It's still there. It's still there for people who are on long commutes or people who have downtime at work. It's still there, and the things that we're hearing about latency being like so unaffected for normal gameplay that like Digital Foundry has to do a slow motion like video shot of pushing the button. Like it's only going to get better. It's built for 5G. Don't worry about your phone battery. Like you're on your phone all the time anyway. Like why not play like an hour of the game you're in the middle of? Like just think about when you're at work, like you're on lunch, you're in your car and you just pull out your tablet and your controller and your game will sync back up where you left off that morning or the night before. Like this is a really cool thing, and just don't be afraid of things to evolve. This is a good thing to happen.
Yeah, imagine if instead of God of War and Alexa, shut up. Ah, gosh, always interrupting me. Imagine instead of God of War and Knack, you saw, the next Halo game and Forza. This would be the end of the world. So, just consider that there is definitely a double standard here. And I think that what it is people hate that what we've been saying is actually true, and it was obviously going to happen, just like crossplay was obviously going to happen. There's just sometimes you got to think about shit. So that we're talking about this a little too long. We got a lot of great topics today. We want to thank everybody for showing up, especially those who are already here. Hit that like button. We almost got 550 people watching already. Let's try to get up to 300 before the end of the show. Just finger bang that little thumbs up button underneath the title. We do appreciate it as we kind of move on to another topic.
Dealer, before you jump to the next topic, you just said crossplay. I just want to let everyone know that actually soccer cars.
We got it.
Yeah, that's fine. It was a thing that I was going to mention in the show.
Oh, my bad.
Let him do it, man.
Go ahead. You can talk about it now real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Soccer cars is now Rocket League.
It's called Stalker Cars, first of all, on this circle.
Stalker Cars.
Rocket League is now crossplay on every device. So PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox and the PC. So that's fantastic. I hope more games move in this direction, and I think it's good for gamers. That's all.
It is, and thank you, Sony, for bringing crossplay to the masses. Thank you for giving the barren lobbies of Xbox and PC someone to finally play with, because it is a desert over here. Jokes aside, it's a good thing that this is happening. It's nice to see. 2 games just isn't enough. I want to see it with every damn game. Let's get this train rolling full speed. Cross-play and cross-progression across the board, man. It's got to happen fast.
And I want to see those controller input logos right next to the player name.
Dude,
so I know who to ram into.
So
That's right.
Santino in the chat is banging the drum that the streaming service makes it irrelevant to own an Xbox. And I want to tell him that he says, "Oh, it's just a job listing. It's not official." Quit worrying about who's buying what console. Worry about what you bought, Santino. Worry about what console you want to have and what you want to play on. Worry about what games you want to play and where and how you want to play them. Quit worrying about it's fanboy checklists. These people drive me crazy. Like Microsoft's been doing this since 2015. Play Anywhere's been in the works. They've got this xCloud thing coming up. This is how it is. You can play your games wherever you want. If you're going to say people don't need to buy an Xbox, great. Go build a PC. Go play only streaming on a tablet. Like, do whatever you want. This is good pro-consumer options. And
somewhere there's someone that only plays games on a cell phone saying, fuck all of you. There's no need for any of your stuff. So it's all about preference. And ultimately, this job listing was official. Okay.
Yes. And what did the job listing say? They're hiring for what? Because Santino still doesn't get it.
So many times. We got so many topics to get through. Because you might have to bail. At 8:30. If the show runs long anyway, so we do need to get through some stuff. We got some other lighter topics where we get into some pretty interesting stuff. Once again, thanks everybody for joining us live, and especially to Jesse Darby in the super chat. We do appreciate it. Bungie and Activision, they're splitting up. They're done. The kids, they forgot to feed the kids. No one has kids anymore, and they're not together anymore. And now what's going on, Zucker? Like, what are the odds that Destiny is still Destiny in the future? We've heard some things behind the scenes we can't talk about, but what do you think that's going to happen now that Activision and Destiny are no longer together? Activision and Bungie are no longer together, and of course Bungie have the IP rights, as I do believe they've always had. I think it was the publishing rights that were up for debate at the end. I could be wrong there, but now that Bungie are in full control, do you think that all that game design and those mechanics and the way they had everything laid out, it's just all going to magically change, or do you think maybe Bungie actually made that game how it is, and maybe Activision just sprinkled a little bit of fuck shit on top of it?
I'm hoping they're fucking done being drunk from the champagne they were popping apparently when they got out of the deal, because you got a lot of shit to work on and fix. They're going to find out real quick how hard it is to actually make a game independently and keep a game like that, where it's a service game. You got to keep bringing content out in a timely fashion for a game like that. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, to be honest. I've enjoyed the game. I played all Destiny. I played through them. I'm, not top high light level right now because I found the game very lackluster the last year and a half. So I know they have a long way to go. People are like jumping for joy, but we're not going to see changes to Destiny until about a year and a half, people. At like
I don't
a
know,
time
man. They
frame.
changed it instantly. The day that this split happened, they already changed the way that you could get into one of the new DLC forages because people were bitching and whining. Not that that's connected, but I mean, they are changing
Yeah, I
stuff.
saw it. Gothalion.
And if you recall, it was Activision, sorry, that specifically said that the game was underperforming financially and will be adding more microtransactions and DLC. That wasn't a Bungie announcement. That was an Activision announcement. So I expect them to dial back a little bit on some of that microtransaction action and maybe make even just the RNG a little bit more favorable kind of thing. Like I really do.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about content. I mean, the thing that's killed
There's
WoW,
a ton
the
of it.
number one
There's a
thing,
ton of it, by the way.
Listen, bro, like what I'm saying to you is that in WoW, the number one thing that killed
not
it
an
was the
MMO.
content drive. Let me talk, bud. Chill. What I'm saying to you is that WoW had lack of content after about 4 months. After the raid came out, it was done. And people are paying monthly to play that game, and they still couldn't get content out in time. I've gone through a lot of the content in Destiny 1 to the point where it was boring. Yeah, Destiny to me is a service game. They keep me coming back or paying for DLC.
That's right. So to use yourself as an example, that's fair enough. I can use myself, which was the most played game of last year, or my brother who plays it still every single day before work. And when he gets home, he just unlocked that crazy sniper rifle from one of the forges today that unloads its entire clip in one shot. And it was a monster to get. So, I mean, it doesn't have 2 tons of story content with narrative attached to it, but there's a ton of content out there for the people that enjoy the game and want to keep playing it. There's a lot of stuff to collect. There's a lot of stuff to get. There's a lot of secret things to actually figure out and find, or you can cheat and go online. Like it is massively expanded. It has massively expanded.
As a hardcore Destiny guy, you love Destiny. You're into the grind. You're into that kind of game, right? And we can agree to disagree. By the way, we all hang out in parties like every single night. So when these two fuck faces go at it, it's fine. Like there's all kinds of debates, and we all kind of bicker and bitch. But when it comes to Destiny, there is a strict divide here. Shady absolutely loves it, and that's fine. Myself, not so much. So I will ask you this, Shady. When it comes to the newest DLC, I heard a lot of hardcore people, like Luca, for instance, talking about the implementation and how to get into those things and how basically you got to grind an extreme amount. Is that still there, or
it has started to be toned down? Like I said, like the same day the split happened, it was either like the night before or the same day. They actually lowered the barrier of entry to the newest forge that just came out. You didn't have to do what you originally did because people were flipping, because even the hardcore guys were like, yo, I mean, I enjoy the game, but I don't want to be playing it for 4 or 5 hours a day to keep up with the Joneses, which was too much. Like, it was too much. I love the game. It's not perfect by any stretch, but I think it gets a lot of shit on it. And I think this kind of feeds into my belief that a lot of gamers today are just way too entitled, man. We got guys out here that are putting in like 8, 9, 10-hour shift work into Destiny when it comes out, and then losing their mind because they hit the wall after 2 weeks. Like, what do you expect? You've gotten 80 hours out of your $60. Take a break, wait for the DLC, and maybe pick that up. If it's not doing what you want, don't get it. But people expect the world out of these games today. This isn't a lifelong experience. It's not meant as one. After your 200th or 300th fucking hour, accept that you've got your money's worth and go play something else. Like, I'm tired of the bitching. The entitlement level on that is just too much. These guys aren't picking it up and playing it for 2 hours and bitching about the content. It's like 100. It's just too much. Meanwhile, we can all enjoy.
I gotta cut it short real quick because we could obviously go on forever on this. But yeah, you got a good point. I would also say that it really depends on what that user is looking for.
Absolutely,
in terms of content, or maybe they're looking to expand the narrative and lore, because Destiny is packed with potential for some serious narrative. And I'm not talking 4-hour cutscenes. I'm talking some deep stuff. And like I said, it all comes down to the user. But I do have to get to Child of God real quick in the super chats. He says Sony better hope that consoles don't go anywhere, because PSN is not it right now. Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're it at all. And then Underachiever. He said, "Let Zocker finish." Yeah.
Yeah, that's my bad.
All right. Well,
but, I mean, we didn't mean to get into a Destiny Defense Force here. The question
let me just
Bungie and Activision, right?
It's not Destiny Defense Force. So what I'm saying to you, Shady, is that right now there's like however many strikes. Like, the Forsaken brought 3 strikes, 1 exclusive to PlayStation, and then you look at WoW when their expansions come out, they have 8 to 9 or maybe even 10 dungeons that you level up to.
You just said that people
And then
subscribe per month, man.
chill out.
You
What I'm
don't
trying to
compare
tell you.
the two games. They're not the same
Holy
fucking game.
shit, Shady.
Well, they're not
Let
the
me
same
talk.
game,
Hey,
dude. They're
come
not
on.
the same
All right,
game,
Beaver's
man.
gonna run out of super chat
let's
money.
just let Zalker, let's let Zalker
Let me
say.
finish it. Let me
Let's
just
let
finish.
Zalker say everything he wants to say, and then
Okay.
we'll give you a few seconds, Shady. But honestly, I don't give two shits about Destiny. We got to move on to the next thing. So hurry up, Zalker. Let's go.
So anyways, yeah, when you get a new weapon, bro, at the end, if you work 75 hours a day, whatever the hell it is to get a new weapon, the problem with Destiny is you get the weapon and then you're just doing the same shit over and over again. In different games that are similar to it, fine. When you do something and you kill like a boss, that boss gives you certain gear or weapon for the next boss. It's worth getting because you're progressing through a raid or a dungeon or a mythic plus. That's all I'm trying to say. Something like that. Same with Diablo or any other game that is a looter. That's all I want is I want progression and reason to get that gun instead of just having it and then sitting there and going, all right, well, let me go over to my next character to grind the same shit over again for 75 hours a day. And then, oh, I got the good gun again. And then I can do nothing with it. That's all.
What planet are you from where we get 75 fucking hours a day? That's one. Two, why would you want to be forced to need one specific piece of gear in order to advance? That's ridiculous to me. I think that's lame. Absolutely lame. But that's not the point. When it comes to Bungie leaving Activision, I think it's a great thing. Great thing. We haven't seen a fully independent Bungie ever. It's always been controlled by some big corporation, either Microsoft, and then they ran off right into the arms of Activision. And now they're popping, champagne bottles. So they seem to be having a good time, that they're free. I'm excited to see what they can do. Word on the street is that they're going to self-publish the next Destiny. And I think that's where the challenge is really going to lie. They made Destiny, so I don't think they're going to have a problem making a game. But having a marketing budget and everything else, like what was going on with the last two, that costs serious money, man. I used the example in another show. Call of Duty sells a lot of copies every year, but it doesn't just sell because it's Call of Duty alone. The marketing campaign behind that game is enormous, absolutely enormous, and marketing does work. So I'm interested to see what just a lonesome Bungie can do as far as marketing of a Destiny 3.
Hey,
I think that's going to be their big hurdle.
I really want to wrap this up. I was going to say really quickly here, this split means that Destiny is coming to Windows 10 PC and Xbox only next generation. That's all I got to say.
Off D's fraudulent point there.
Yes.
Everyone's got an opinion, and it's okay to disagree on some things, but I do want to ask Colt about Phil Spencer's kind of response to Destiny for leaving. What did he say to them? Because it was kind of, a lot of people read into it a little too much.
Yeah, we were just joking today that, like, you asked me a question, I'm like, I don't have that in front of me, and this is one of those times. He said we're really excited to work with this amazing studio and see what they bring in the next round or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's coming back. It's coming back.
I'm like, I called you and I said, I don't normally like get bent out of shape when I hear something like that. I go, that just didn't sound right. I'm like, what is he talking about? Because it makes it sound like they're going to help on the next game. And so you had to kind of correct me that Microsoft helps everybody in their own way and helps them get the game on the platform and up and running to make sure everything's right.
Especially the independents, right? Like,
yeah,
they'll be independent now. So
yeah. And
Microsoft still own a chunk of them, I do believe, regardless. When they were with Activision, without, like, they still have stock in Bungie, I do believe. Oh, so okay. They don't own them. I do believe they own a certain percentage of them, though. So
I've heard 10.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 15% or something like that. Destiny, let us know what you think in the live chats about the direction Bungie might take, how they may improve things, and hopefully there's just less ridiculous expansion after expansion. It may be more meaningful expansions with less microtransactions. That'd be great.
Breaking news just came in. Halo Infinite is getting delayed because Bungie is back.
Oh my gosh.
Another fraudulent claim by D-Badge. Hey, real quick, we've got some Xbox Game Pass hints that they've been throwing out there for those that are curious about what's coming up next. Who's got the kind of information on what they're hinting at right now?
Well, everyone's arguing about that. So I think I have the answer. Everyone is really upset about the very first one. I'm pulling it up right here. I think the very first one is We Happy Few. And a lot of people don't agree with me. But looking at the lowercase, there's 2 lowercase letters toward the end. And there's a tall one that looks like an H. It looks like We Happy Few. Lego, I think Zocker and I agree on this one. It's Lego, the movie video game.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, right?
Yeah.
So the 2014 title.
Yeah, which is awesome, which I've got like probably 85, 90% of it done already. And then the last one is the S. That's Saints Row the Third, most people are saying. But the Xbox Game Pass Twitter is genius. They're really cool. They've been bringing out new games like every week or every 2 weeks, right? They've been adding them to Game Pass. It seems like at least they put a handful a month, but lately they've been putting out something every 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes sooner. So
yeah, throughout the month they sprinkle them through, so it's kind of awesome. And their Twitter has been their Twitter is pretty funny. They joke around and they put stuff out there. Really cool hints. It's a great Twitter to follow if you guys want like hits of what's coming to Game Pass and stuff.
Yeah, they sent me 3 months of Game Pass just for some guys like, oh, I can't download that new game. I can't remember what it was. Rage or something. When Rage first went on there, I can't remember what it was. And I said, that won't be out until tomorrow. They just announced it. And then Game Pass said, hey, Colt, we sent you a DM. And I look, and it was a code for 3 months. They said, thanks for helping out the community. I'm like, well, that's really cool, man.
Wow.
So they're really
shirt and Game Pass.
They sent one to a buddy of ours, Irrelevant Native, too, because he was answering questions before the Game Pass team could get to it. So they're just a really cool team to follow.
A master debater says, what's up, dealer? Colt, play the King of the Hill theme song for us, and JD, be nice. Thank you so much.
Read that name again.
D back with another fraudulent phrase. So yeah, those are kind of your hints right now. The best we can gather. It's looking to be not quite as far as December for obvious reasons, but I guess it all depends on who you are, right? So figured it's worth mentioning for sure. Hey, real quick too, this whole, and I'm really looking forward to getting to the Crackdown stuff because I'm really wanting to talk about these impressions that these people that have played the hell out of the game have on it. It's might surprise some people. So once again, we will get to that, guys. Thank you for rocking out with us. Over 600 people watching us live. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. It's just one quick button press. But real quick, Soldier Boy, he's back in business. Okay, now I don't want to talk about Soldier Boy any more than you want to hear Soldier Boy's music. Okay, basically, he was reselling emulator consoles off of a website, a Chinese website, I do believe. He was taking something that cost $50 and he was selling it for $200. And that's how he was basically just rebranding something that already exists that was already a knockoff of something else. Well, Nintendo got involved because some of their software was emulated on it, and they curb stomped the shit out of him. Well, he's back now, but he's trying to sell you something else. He's selling you a Chinese knockoff PS Vita that's going for $50 or $25 rather. This thing's $25, I do believe, on the actual site. If you're smart enough, you'll zoom in and see, where to find that site. It's right on the device, I do believe. And he's selling it for $100. So 4x profit there. And not that whatever. Profit is profit. But the fact that he's up to this again and he keeps reselling these Chinese knockoff consoles, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
Soldier Boy, sell them.
Sell them.
It's ridiculous taking advantage of people that just don't do their homework, quite frankly, or just enjoy the brand of Soldier Boy. I really don't know, man. It's easy money for him, I suppose. I wouldn't want that associated with myself. That's just that. That's kind of cheap and ridiculous. Does that PSP come loaded up with a bunch of PlayStation games?
I don't even know how much that's PSP.
Or the Vita, Vita.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. He made apparently to him on Twitter, he made 20 M's from the last consoles he sold and
20
stuff
L's,
like
you mean?
Yeah, that's what he said. 20 M's. He's up 20 million, and he said his consoles sold over 5 million in I guess a half hour or something. Like he's just who cares?
What? In all honesty, I wouldn't doubt that console sold because there's a bunch of idiots out there that they follow this shit on social media. They think it's the thing to get. Some people know it's just a joke, but they just want to get it just to have that fucking console. So I don't know about the 5 million number, but I'm pretty sure he moved a bunch of these piece of shit consoles.
How many did you buy, D?
I bought 2, man, just for the
I bought 16 for my store. Jay Fonzarelli, I'm listening while on the toilet. Yeah, you were telling me about how you installed a toilet in your office as your main office chair now. I don't know, Jay. I actually think it's a great idea. So thanks for checking us out, man. Jay was an absolutely fantastic member of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure to
previously.
wipe twice.
Make sure to wipe twice. Yes. So yeah, hopefully Soldier Boy is, I don't know. I guess he's just addicted to it. He obviously, you know, there's money that is needed.
He's an
And I feel like
entrepreneur,
that's
man.
obvious because you are doing these things to people. You're ripping people off. So I wanted to go over the Randy Pitchford stuff real quick. For those that don't know, and I'm not going to get into super crazy detail with this because this kind of gets up some fucked
Keep
up
that to a
territory.
minute long.
Yeah. Randy Pitchford, obviously, I do believe he's like the CEO of Gearbox, the guys who made Borderlands 2. They haven't made anything worth a damn since Borderlands 2, and we're all wondering how the hell they're surviving. It's off of the Borderlands 2 remaster, basically. Yeah, that guy has basically been caught up in some scandals and some really, really, really dark shit. And for those wondering, and the only reason I even want to talk about this is because Borderlands 3. What? Like we've seen like an Unreal Engine 4 tech demo of the thing,
Yeah.
but it just has never surfaced. It was rumored to be at the Game Awards as well as Gamescom for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
When is this thing going to come out, Colt?
I think we're supposed to see our first teaser trailer by E3 2019, but I mean, not to even talk about what he's dealing with. I mean, this could actually put a wrench in the gears of what's going on. I know there's a lot of money tied up in a big game like Borderlands 3 is going to be a multi-million-dollar deal. And if he's going through a lot of stuff, it could really put the brakes on a really fast-moving train. So I don't know what's going to happen. And it's, someone said the worst thing is, Peter Young says, the worst thing about it is the guy that does Claptrap's voice is no longer at Gearbox. Yeah, he used to be a high-level executive for Gearbox and also said, I'm over here. So, yeah, it's a mess. I love that series so much. I can't wait for the next one, but hopefully it gets all ironed out soon.
Yeah. Some who is this? Players United. Hey, fuckface. 2,000 people watch that dog shit show. No one gives a fuck, okay? Stupid ass propaganda.
You get 2,000 views on this podcast and like
brush this motherfucker right now, okay? Hey, so let's move on from trash, and we'll go ahead and start talking about the PlayStation. Well, no, D already fucking covered that. That's right. So we're actually going to move on to the Turn 10 job listing that I actually covered a couple of videos ago, but a lot of people might not have caught it. So we do have to kind of reiterate this. Turn 10 Studios have an official job listing on, obviously, by Microsoft. They're looking for people to helm the next generation of Forza Motorsport titles for the Xbox 2. And I actually feel like this kind of went under the radar. I know it's another Forza, right? But at the same time, it's still really cool to even see Microsoft's hiring for anything involving the next generation. To my knowledge, it's the first game where we're kind of hearing about this from one of their first party studios directly. That's really interesting to me. I know not many people play Forza on the panel, but basically the rumor is that they're going to take their first 3-year development cycle going from 17 to 20 being a launch title for the Xbox 2. And of course, I think they would use that time to retool and develop new technology, perhaps, work on some of this ray tracing. You never know. And of course, implement some features, some new upgrades, club garages, the cool shit from Forza 4 that we've never seen before, or since rather. So, I ain't going to keep it on Turn 10 too long because I know if you don't like racing, you don't like racing. That's why there's such a big skill gap in that game. You either suck or you're like a casual or you're moderately decent. So we can kind of move on to Cyberpunk real quick. They did announce that they didn't even start working on this damn game until years after its announcement. When is this game going to come out, Shady?
Oh, God, I don't know. The extreme optimist in me still says this upcoming November on the exact same day that Red Dead 2 launched. It really does. But, I mean, realistically, probably going to be 2020, maybe even 2021 if they started that late. And if it's that ambitious, that little bit of a demo they showed off was insanely ambitious. Essentially everything you watched except for pulling out naked chick from the tub looked like it was completely choice, and none of it had to be done or even seen at all. So if that's the attention of detail and just all the side stuff, I can only imagine what the actual like main narrative and everything is really going to have to offer. So I'm not sure, man. It was kind of upsetting when I heard that news that they didn't start working on it for so long, because I remember seeing that initial trailer, the reveal trailer, when she was the robotic lady there and she had like the mantis blades coming out with the blood dripping and she'd massacred like the block or whatever. I remember that trailer. It was a long time ago, years and years. And if we're still years out, geez, man, this is like 7-8 year dev time.
I agree with Aztec in the chat. 2021. I think it's 2021. He says 2021, 22, but I'm thinking 2021 on this, guys. Maybe spring 2021 for Cyberpunk 2077. Like I said, they confirmed they didn't even start working on it until around the time that Blood and Wine launched, I do believe. Right, Zauker?
Yeah. I mean, that, the funny thing is that I feel like after what happened with Witcher 3, I think they kind of took a step back and were like, you know what? We can take time to build Cyberpunk the way we want, because Witcher 3 was so successful for them. So they don't have any pressure or anything on them. So I feel like this game, when we watched the demo, Dealer, remember I was telling you, I was like, man, look at the buildings in the back, like the back area, like it looked like 360 level graphics. And it's because it's not done, people. I'm not saying it looks bad. It's because they even said it. And they said it in that demo. They showed, hey, this is going to be a while. Remember
it was running on a PC.
That? Yeah, they're
on a really good PC.
Well, they kept telling people like, hey, this is subject to change a lot. So take this with a grain of salt. It's basically what they told the viewers. And, I think they're going to show a little bit more at this E3. If they don't show up at this E3, we're looking at 2021 or 2022, people. If they don't show up.
You think this is maybe a huge case of showing a game too early? Like, it looks phenomenal, no doubt, but that's just too long. I don't need a game to be revealed that long in advance. That's just insane.
I know, like that. Now we know how Crackdown and Sea of Thieves feel.
Yeah, and that's like, in all honesty. And then the trailer was, I don't know if you guys remember, like the trailer that they showed at E3 was so good. Like that music that they had was obscene. Like I just loved it, and I love the music. I love the trailer. The gameplay looked amazing once they showed that hour-long demo or 45-minute that they showed the rest of the media at E3. So I know everybody's hyped for this, but I feel like they can take their time with the game and make it the best they can, because it's extremely ambitious.
It's CD Projekt Red. Say it with me, chat. CD God Project Red. I don't know. Those guys, Witcher 3, best game ever developed overall, in my opinion, just because it is all so high quality. And there's so many dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of it. It's just nuts. It's still so good. And it's already almost 4 years old now. So keep that in mind. Witcher 3, this is from the same team. I think they do games right. And with this game, Cyberpunk, they did have some secret messages in their trailer saying, hey, look, guys, we're afraid that you guys are going to think everything's going to turn out exactly how this demo is. These things are really subject to change. Much of this is not even close to final. And we just kind of put some layers of paint over it, maybe some fake hacking sequences, stuff that wasn't really mechanically driven. It's just kind of a screen until something else happens so they can kind of get through the demo and kind of get the idea across. This game has got a ways to go, and CD Projekt Red do not rush their games. So, yeah, I'm really hoping they just take their time, because you only get one Cyberpunk 2077, and I want it to be as good as possible. Also, it'll be a next-gen title, and they said they're shooting for current-gen title consoles as well. Keep that in mind. So, if you're on the Xbox 2 or even the PS5, you'll have most likely a 60 FPS option. Master Debater in the Super Chat, PC Master Race, console peasants. JC loves you, 16 Xbox Live. What's going on, bud? We do appreciate it. So yeah, that's kind of the Cyberpunk thing right now, catching everyone up. It's really interesting, man. Love the developers. Really into what they're about. Free DLC, true expansions. D-Batch, what are your thoughts?
I think 2020. I think it's going to be a cross-gen launch title. I think
next year, huh?
Yeah, I think next year we'll see it. I think at E3 we'll get a bigger reveal, and we'll see that it's been upgraded, and I think they'll probably announce that it'll be 2020 title of these next-gen launch titles, because I think at E3 we're pretty much going to have confirmation at that time that next gen's happening next year. So let's see.
Colt, are you at least looking forward to this at all?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I am totally looking forward to it. And I agree with the 2020. They would like it to be out in 19, and everyone would like it to be out in 19, but CD Projekt Red's going to get it right. They're going to make sure it's all ready and finished. Like Witcher 3 didn't launch with bugs and problems and half-baked and
very few
like
for the size of the game.
I mean, for an open world game, I mean, I have a very big forgiveness buffer for open world games. You know, as long as the game works and like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like Witcher was a polished, finished product. I expect the same.
Tryhard fan in the chat nailed it. Both Witcher 3 DLCs could have been their own games. I spent 30 hours in Blood and Wine alone, sir. So I definitely agree with that. So yeah, that's the latest. We've been getting a lot of requests on the Cyberpunk stuff, and we figured we wait till something notable actually happened. And them confirming they didn't even start working on it for years after the announcement. It's kind of crazy. I'm sure they were in pre-production, but that's probably about it. Resident Evil 2. We do have to go over this because this demo has been just sweeping people off their feet, and I've got to say I'm one of them. I landed on my shoulder wrong. Shit sucked. It's good. Resident Evil 2 demo is really, really good. The controls are really good. It looks great.
Even I played it.
FPS. Yeah. Chat, I want to know from you specifically as well. Did you play the Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo, and what did you think about it? If you haven't, download it and at least try it. Even if you're not into horror, just try it. So real quick thoughts on this demo, Colt Eastwood. You're not a horror guy, but what do you think once I forced you to play the damn thing?
It's really cool. I mean, it's like a total reimagining of the first game, which I've only kind of watched people play a little bit, but like very impressed with the bullet, like the body deformation. Like I was shooting zombies trying to get a headshot and I hit them like in the upper lip and their mouth would kind of explode and they just keep coming. Hit them like in the cheek or in the top of the forehead and it wasn't a death kill. Like a critical shot, like if you hit them right in the middle of the forehead, it would kind of pop and they'd move their body around. Physics are amazing. The game looks eerily soft in some times, but really sharp. And other times it's got like some weird solution for trying to go on 4K screens. But I mean, it's a really cool game.
Yes, you can still download the demo for those wondering. But if you've already played it on your account, you cannot play it again. You have 30 minutes to play the demo. No matter what you accomplish, once you hit start in the menu, that timer counts and starts.
Felt like 5.
And you run out of time. I got this game pre-ordered. I actually really liked Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil 2 is a completely fresh take on what has already been done, which is hard to do. Very good job from what I've experienced. Zalker,
I knew it, dude.
This motherfucker opening lockers going, screaming. Zalker, you were so scared, man.
Don't throw me under the bus, you little bitch. First of all, this guy's like, you need to play it. I'm like, all right. So I download it. Next day, he's like, I want you to stream it and then talk to me as you play it. I was like,
oh God, you just made that sound way creepy, man.
Because it was creepy.
Yeah, talk to me as you can. Yeah.
That's how I felt, man. I felt violated. So I'm sitting there playing the game, and I'm actually like, oh, it's a pretty good looking game, kind of finding stuff, shotguns, stuff like that. And then, shit's falling from the ceiling, making me shit my pants, making noises a grown man shouldn't make. Dealer's laughing his ass off. It was a great time. And then the one time where I opened a locker, because Dealer's like, you got to check everything, man. You never know what you're going to find. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Open a locker, a corpse falls on me. I'm like, fuck!
It's yourself. It's you in the future.
Yeah, I unload like a whole clip on it. And after that, I just started shooting everything that was laying on the ground. If there was like a fucking woman saying help, I'd just shoot her in the head. It didn't matter. Anything that was in a room, I'd shoot them in the head. And that was it. And Dealer was just laughing. He's like, you're just not giving anyone a chance. I'm like, nope, man. It's the apocalypse. You just got to take out everyone.
Yeah. And it worked. I mean, a lot of times you shot them in the head, they reacted.
Yeah.
We're going to go through the rest of the impressions here, Shady, and then we'll kind of move on and we'll get to the kind of juicy stuff here. Shady, what were your thoughts real quick on the RE2 demo?
I was already looking forward to it because Resident Evil 2 was my favorite of the old school Resident Evils, and this is a remake done right. It's not the same puzzles. The enemies aren't in the same spots. I think it has more nostalgia, if you will, than it is a full ground-up remake. It's like a reboot that is true to it, the original content. And man, they nailed it. It plays insane, smooth. It looks really, really good. The violence is one of the things I've been waiting for this entire gen, man. Please give me the goddamn violence that these consoles.
The way their skin explodes off of their faces is.
That's right. Like, I mean, I walked into a room and there was a zombie lying on the ground, and I didn't mess around. I just blew his ear clean off his fucking head, and he didn't get up, and there was just this gaping hole. And then other guys, they're taking shots in the cheeks and blowing the cheek skin off. It's dangling in the neck and everything. I shot at one guy in the stomach 5 or 6 times to see what that did, and there was big holes in them. You can slice off their arms and shoot the arms off. All the gurgling going down, like it's very impressive on the maturity, let's call it. It's not even mature. Violence isn't mature, but on the the graphic violence, I'm a big fan of that with my games, and I think that the devs out there are chicken shits when it comes to giving me what I want this gen. Man, we got a lot of wicked liquid physics and stuff these days. I want to see it utilized in the gore. We just don't have it. So I like that in this one because they're zombies. It's no holds barred, I guess, and we're allowed to tear these bastards up. So I'm looking forward to the game now.
Yeah. What's going on, Darth Vicious, bud? Also, you can go through the whole demo and either find or not find very important things, like a shotgun, for instance. So just keep that in mind. Once you blast a zombie with a shotgun, the top half of his body has no skin left, and the wall behind him is now wearing the skin. It's very, very well done. And I once again, I gotta say, I think they nailed it on this regard. D-Batch, last but not least, did you try this out, and what are your thoughts here?
Yes, I did on multiple consoles. First, I agree with the panel. It brings back the classic feel of the Resident Evil series. It really actually brought me back to my childhood, to be completely honest with you. I remember this game vividly, and the remake is just beautiful. And I was impressed by the way the game performed on consoles. The PS4 Pro, it's a little bit lower resolution than the Xbox One X natively. The Xbox One X is not doing 4K, but both of them are holding 60 frames per second pretty solidly, at least the premium console. So I was impressed with that. And on PC, it's just amazing. The one scene that I loved was when he's in the hallway and he looks at I think it was like a downed cop or something like that. And, he pulls his head up and you see, all the flesh and all the as his jaw's falling off his face. I was like, wow, this game is just detailed, and the lighting of the game, the atmosphere. Like, this is a video game. This is why I play video games. For games like Resident Evil, the atmosphere, I'm totally sold on the game, and I'm fully immersed, and I enjoyed it.
Well, answer this question for Eternal Shadow in the super chat. Thoughts on an RE Nemesis remake? Would you accept it?
If it was up to quality like this, I mean, I would. But Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was one of my lesser favorites of the series myself. I would go with Code Veronica over that if I could choose.
Well, I think they need to just redo all the lore. It's very antiquated. It's very mashed and confusing to a lot of people, myself included. I ain't gonna lie. So, I like Resident Evil 7. It just had a clean start, but it kind of interweaved itself back in with some of the things. And then this one is like, hey, let's learn it and try to make it a little more sense, and with much better voice acting, of course. So, it's looking good, guys. You can download it now. Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo, and of course, D-Batch as well. They're saying that this is an older build of this game, where the Pro is apparently running an interlacing technology to get up to 1620p by 28, whatever. According to some sources, but Digital Foundry once again didn't catch that interlacing. They are not doing a great job at catching some of these new checkerboarding and interlacing technologies, whereas some others are actually catching some of this stuff. So keep that in mind. Find those channels.
I just briefly talk on that. It's a little bit up in the air. There's one channel, I don't want to name them. They've gotten a few things wrong to the point where, they're like 80% right, 20%, wrong.
And
so
in the community,
them I'll leave them alone. Now I can say NX Gamer, he's pretty much been dead on with all of his analysis, and he came to the same conclusion that Digital Foundry did, that the game was using interlace technology on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that it was native on at the same resolution, but it was native on the Xbox One X, and that the Xbox One X had more features and whatnot. But once again, it is an old build, so the final build is it's gonna be improved on both platforms, especially the Xbox One X. I know they're gonna be able to take advantage of the extra power there.
Hey, I Sturbo, take it easy on me, man. Come on now. I think that just for the fact that every game has what seems like different protagonists for the most part, and it isn't this case, but there's a 0, there's a 1.5, there's there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's what you're
And
getting
you
at.
got to get what I'm saying here. Like imagine
Raccoon City and like I haven't really played
Possum
them.
City and fucking whatever else, like it gets
It's rubbing shoulders with the anime world. It's very Japanese, man. I'll say it. It is, and the 7th one westernized it a bit. It makes it a bit more palatable for the audience over here, and I think it's a good move, to be honest. I think Resident Evil was a standout franchise, and to make it a little more appealing for the mass market of video gaming is a good thing.
Mike Griffin really wants us to move on from the subject. I don't blame him.
Hey, we got a lot of people that are enjoying the chat, and not every subject's for everyone. That's kind of the downside of podcasts. But if that's the case, hey, go on a long drive, maybe clean the house. Hey, I find that is the perfect scenario for a podcast. But we are actually going to move on. So your wish is granted. But we're actually going to talk about something that you might not like. Even more than Resident Evil is a rumor that Sony are actually working on a SOCOM reboot, and it's being done by Guerrilla Games. They did hire somebody from, I think the creative director from Rainbow Six Siege, I do believe, for their second team. And we just wanted to kind of throw this out there. There's no real information. It's just a rumor at this point. But keep in mind that they could be rebooting SOCOM, and who knows? We got some SOCOM fans in the chat. Let us know. I'm sure we do. We just figured we'd let you guys know real quick that it could be definitely a thing. So what's going on with this this Sony fine that's going on here, Zalker? Sony fined a crap ton of money for some kind of misleading marketing or some crap.
Yeah, in Italy, apparently they said something like they were being fined $2 million or more. I don't even know how much, like more than that, for having false advertisement in their thing or misleading advertisement about gaming online. People didn't know you had to pay to game online. So a lot of people complained, and I guess the officials in Italy found it actionable to move forward. So I don't know. Damn. It's looking pretty harsh out there for that.
So people are just confused about if they got to pay on. So it's really not
on the box. Like that's one of the things. Like when you grab an Xbox console, it says on the box Xbox Live required, and it has a price, a cost on there, and apparently that's something that's not being done on all of the packaging. So
yeah, and it's a lot of people. It wasn't like it's an antitrust. It's basically a lot of customers in that region have said, like, hey, this has been going on for a while. We didn't know. And it's apparently been going on since November 2013. So, yeah, they didn't know. And the 2 million euros should be fined. It's euros, not dollars. Well, should be fined and paid within 30 days of this notice is what it says.
Aztec in the chat says, any truth to Microsoft acquiring a mid-size studio that's worked with Sony in the past? We've heard some things about that, but no one has anything locked down on that. And honestly, I don't know how much we'd be able to say even if we did have anything, but honestly, we just don't have anything on it yet. So we're always keeping our ears open for you guys. As you guys know, we're always trying to keep things up to date. Hey, so we can kind of move on to the Crackdown 3 stuff here, Colt. We're gonna give Colt the floor because he's got a lot of stuff to go over and let you guys know about some of the early review impressions. People that have gotten to spend a lot of time with the game, both multiplayer and single player, and what their thoughts are on the game. We got to shout out to everybody watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get the 3 in front of the end of the show. It really helps quite a bit. So go ahead, Colt. Let's take it away with Games Radar here.
All right. So first of all, like a lot of people are assuming that Crackdown's going to be janky or a letdown, and it's been in a long development. But the interesting thing you have to remember is that Crackdown basically was reborn 2 years ago. They scrapped much of what there was. The entire multiplayer was rebuilt from the ground up 2 years ago. Over the past year, the campaign has taken a total overhaul. So what I have is a couple of quotes from this article that will just kind of explain this, and then I don't have to go on tangents. They said there's a real delight to be had pulling buildings down around a group of otherwise aggressive enemies in Crackdown's wrecking zone. But you should trust us when we tell you that it's pretty GD spectacular.
Now, this is coming from Games Radar, by the way, right?
They were flown out to Microsoft's studio to test Wrecking Zone and have a look at the campaign. So there's a couple more quotes here. They said, Crackdown 3's awe-inspiring destruction, and you could do it all without taking anything away from the game's gorgeous graphics, silky smooth frame rate, or its heart-pounding moment-to-moment action. If anything, it enhances it entirely. So they said it doesn't matter what your internet speed is, you'll be enjoying 12 times the processing power of an Xbox One X, or 30 times the power of the base Xbox One to play with in the multiplayer mode for that destruction. A couple more things. They said this makes for some totally awesome gameplay no other multiplayer game on the market can accurately capture or reproduce. We get the feeling that with more time players spend experimenting with the Wrecking Zone, its maps and destructions, the more intoxicating it'll become. So it was pretty apparent reading this article. There's actually 2 linked articles on Games Radar page that talks about what's going on with the campaign, and then one strictly about their time with Wrecking Zone. They don't have any footage, which ticks me off. They said, Crackdown 3, rest assured, the upcoming Xbox One exclusive has plenty to get your teeth into in terms of a single-player campaign, and we're happy to report that it has come on in leaps and bounds. The combat looks dynamic, the graphics look sharp, and the frame rate stable. The delay has clearly done the game some wonders.
Go figure.
That sounds pretty good, right? Like, I don't know if this guy is like a Crackdown fanboy, this Josh West that works at...
That's why I brought up the Games Radar twice, because Games Radar do not do Xbox any favors. Like, usually, if Xbox, like Forza, for instance, will get a 9 or whatever, they'll give it an 8. So there is, and not that that's whatever. That's just their preference, but they don't tend to like Xbox games as much.
They were the ones that swore that the X would be $700 and up in an article, which just blew me away. They really don't have like the benefit of the doubt. Not that Microsoft's earned it lately, or the past year, but yeah, it's interesting to see how impressed they were with this game.
Yeah, and they talked about I don't know, the sheer scale of it. He was talking about a scene where he was on top of a skyscraper, and him and his team took down an entire building where there were enemy agents inside. And he's like, I have never experienced something where I was just sitting there watching the building fall, and the other agents were running through walls and windows trying to find cover as debris was falling all the way around them, and they were like jumping out from the skyscraper. Like, he's like, it's intense. So that's really cool, man. That's what got me excited about it, was that like scene he picked. And he said it made my mouth just wide open and my eyes were blinded by like the neon fixtures of futuristic cities, skyscrapers enveloping everybody. He's like, it's crazy. He's like, he's never experienced anything like that before, ever. So that's really cool. I want to see that. I want to get into that.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Like I said, this is Games Radar. So this is actually, I'd say this is doubly as good coming from those guys. If they're talking about this, they also talked about the lock on and how actually it actually feels really cool with how fast paced the game is. Keep in mind, you got jump jets, jump packs, and you are busting through walls. And they say the auto aim stuff actually feels pretty cool, as weird as that sounds. But then again, we'll have the same people like, what do you mean auto aim feels cool while they're playing Red Dead 2?
Yeah,
right?
It's not about auto aim. It's not about how you aim. It's how your opponent is trying to get away from you or break line of sight, or using the environment to sabotage your chance to kill them, or turn it around on the enemy. And they have a kill confirmed and then a regular 5v5 Wrecking Zone. The kill confirmed, like you have these glittering, shining gold dog tags that drop, and you have to run after those while everything's falling over. And it's crazy. This article's pretty lengthy, and they had almost nothing of like to say as far as middle ground or anything negative. Like they must have given them a really good presentation that week, because they were really
let them play it, man. Like,
yeah,
sounds like they just let them play it. And too, like I said, like when they're talking about 30x the power of the base Xbox One, blah blah blah, they're talking about physics compute, and that's on the CPU side. So all that stuff's being done on the server. That's all you're getting from the servers. The cloud is all that physics driven destruction, and that's a really, really cool technology. No matter what, and I know people say power the cloud, but finally, it took them a while, but finally we're watching people play this game in real time. There's footage out there, and it's working. And it's not possible on the current generation consoles without some kind of outside. So that's just really, really impressive to me. They finally pulled it off. All of the game's development hiccups and all the problems and issues with development, go back, delay it, polish, add this, it doesn't feel right, fix this. Phil Spencer was saying like it really does seem like the game's coming together, and we're finally getting this game in less than a month.
Well, they mentioned that in the article, the development hell. They're like, to be honest, we're surprised we're writing this article. They actually hinted at that, like to even talk positively about this game. They even brought up, I don't know if you brought it up, Colt, was the frame rate. They said the frame rate never dropped ever.
Yeah.
And they were trying to keep track of that in the single player and the multiplayer. And they said the single player was absolute crispy fucking smooth. They said it in the article, then they put my little avatar right there. But that's that's what they were talking about. That's what I want to see, is the frame rate and how smooth the game runs, in the multiplayer, which I'm going to jump into a lot. And I want to see it in the single player because I'm going to be playing co-op with somebody on this panel. Hopefully, that's what we do. We play games. So I want to see it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Shady D.
I'm hyped for this game. Go ahead, D. I'll wait. I'll be the end.
Oh, I've always thought that this game, it's either going to be really good or it's going to suck really bad. So this news is it's hard.
I mean, D, we've been around the block a couple times, and we've been in it since this game was first announced. We were talking about soon after, rather. I started the channel in like 2014 or something, but we've been at it when Crackdown's hate was at its worst, when it seemed the most doom and gloom, and we're finally all the way up to 2019. The light is visible at the end of the tunnel, D. Like, did you think this damn day was going to happen? And better yet, did you think this cloud stuff was actually going to be intact?
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors out there that they were taking the cloud out. So, of course, that's false. So I'm happy to see the cloud's in. And this is going to be Microsoft's showpiece for their cloud technology. And if it's as good as what they're saying in these articles here, I think gamers are in for a treat. And I think gaming won't be the same again, especially if cloud compute has been proven in this game. So I'm looking forward to it now.
Yeah. And chat, let us know what other games, what other scenarios, what other types of games you think this cloud power destruction could be used in. Go ahead, Shady.
I was going to say, I'm a long-term Crackdown fan, and I've never looked at it as some kind of giant narrative, cinematic-driven open world, anything. It's not that. It's never been that. Not every game needs that, and this game just offers fun. It's a game. It's fun. It's open world. You smash stuff. You're super powered, jumping buildings, collecting a bunch of orbs. Like, it's just a good time with friends. And I've been anticipated for this game since the very first reveal. My God, has it been a wait? And there was a couple dicey moments there where we just weren't sure what the fuck was going on. But I always held out hope that it was going to come out. And I still think it's actually going to surprise a lot of people. And I mean, being in Game Pass is, again, it's just absolutely fantastic. You don't have to convince all your buddies to go out and spend $60 on a game that they're iffy on. You drop a little bit of money and you got it for the month, so you can all play together and really see what this thing has to offer. I mean, even for the haters out there, it's cheap to get in and see if all this hate you guys have been choking on for the last couple of years has been worth it, man. I recommend the game without even playing it. It just looks good from the eyes, and from a Crackdown player, it's exactly what I wanted to see from this game.
You know what it looks like? It looks just like Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
It looks just like Crackdown, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you get people out there that say this game looks like trash. Did any Crackdown ever set a visual bar?
No.
Games Radar says,
I mean, is it art style? Is it? We know the X is way more powerful than the Pro. It can obviously produce better looking games. Do you think that maybe it's just the way that they decided they wanted to go because it looked like the other Crackdowns, or
we're excited for Shenmue 3, and that game looks like it was made in 1992. And of course, it's a really great game. People love that series, so they're excited to play it. Like, that's the same way how Shady and I and Zocker are about Crackdown. Like, we've been waiting for this game for a while, but it's so funny. Like, Games Radar said that this game looks like a mix between Tron and Grand Theft Auto. It's got like this Tron type city. They said the presentation, as it kind of unfolds the story, what you're supposed to do, is shown like an interactive comic book. Like, it's a superhero comic book, like cyber cop game. Like, if you don't like that, like Crackdown, then fine. Like, you don't have to talk about it for 40 minutes. Don't
Yeah, and
play
it's
it.
a little more in depth than the other Crackdowns. That's what I liked. I don't know if you saw in the article, they talked about there's multiple. You can play as Terry Crews. They said that, but also you can play as multiple agents, and different agents will be better for different scenarios within the world.
Some of those
different games
are a little more fraudulent than others, Zocker. I just got to point that out. But hey, Zocker, too, while you're talking about this, Shinsaya says that EA just canceled. Yeah, they just canceled a Star Wars open world. I'm guessing you meant to say game.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've heard that as well. That
Not
the
that
big
game.
open, yeah.
Not the game that the lady from Naughty Dog went over to do.
Yeah,
No.
that one that was originally going to be remixed into this big open world. Remember that was pushed or quasi delayed because they said they couldn't monetize it properly, and that was going to be turned into some kind of an open world. And that has been, from Kotaku's sources, anyways, it's been canceled, and that was up being made by EA Vancouver. And I guess they had been making this game since back when Visceral had been shut down, is when it had originally kind of been started, is what I heard. So that's maybe out the window, and the studio is still there. This EA Vancouver is still there. So they're doing something, but no one knows what it is. And no matter what it is, it's years away. So that's shitty on the Star Wars game front. All we have left is maybe another Battlefront game and whatever the hell Respawn's got cooking with that Jedi game.
I've always wanted them to do that. What was it, Star Wars 1313 that we saw that demo, and they never ever. Well, I know they absolved that studio, but that looked so cool. That game, I don't understand why they didn't pick up the assets for that game. Was it Star Wars 1313?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that looked really good. And I remember that was right before Disney picked up LucasArts and Star Wars and the whole shebang there. So I think they just kind of dissolved in the middle. But that would have been awesome if someone could have picked up the pieces and finished that off, because it sure looked awesome.
Well, at the very least, I'm not even a Crackdown fan, but the idea of co-op in something like this completely draws me in. Even if it is just 2-player co-op, I'll be sure and run through this. And Wrecking Zone looks to be kind of a crazy clusterfuck. It looks like it could be a good time. And after all, you're experiencing technology that's never been experienced before, especially in a console game. So I just think it's extremely impressive. They're able to deliver that no matter what box you're on, PC, Xbox as well. I just think it's really, really cool. I guess, D, we can, well, I don't know. I guess we could just leave that one out, actually. But I don't know, man. Crackdown looks great. Let us know what you guys think in the chat as well. D, AMD, they're working on their own ray tracing tech. Did you hear about this?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of not new news for me per se.
Well, earlier they had a demo already, like last year, like Radeon Rays or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. So they have the Radeon Rays, and Lisa Su said before the holiday break that basically they'd be bringing ray tracing, to the mainstream when it becomes a little bit more popular. They said that they need to partner with more people, yada yada yada, and that NVIDIA doing it right now, they're not really doing it the right way because they don't have the full support of the community. And they said when ray tracing goes more mainstream, they'll be there. Now, of course, we know that they launched the Vega 7 GPU. We know Navi is coming later on this year. So pretty much they confirmed that ray tracing is going to be on Navi pretty much.
Yeah, and people are all into the marketing. Well, the AMD cards don't have the RTX cores, and it's like, wow. Guys, that's marketing. All right. That's them saying, hey, look what these cores you get with this new GPU. Like, we don't know because we've already seen Polyphony doing this shit in real time. A lot of people don't believe it's real.
In fact, to be honest with you, the RT cores are not even being used for ray tracing right now. People that have a Titan V were able to enable ray tracing on their graphics card because it's similar to the Turing. It doesn't have those ray tracing cores, but it's compute heavy, and it was able to compute them, and they're getting pretty good frame rates. So it's ray tracing is really going to come down to what your GPU can compute. And if AMD's history, they're always better at compute than NVIDIA. for the most part. NVIDIA gets better, drivers for some of their games, and they got GameWorks that gimps a lot of shit to make their stuff run better. But AMD has always been heavy with the compute, so I expect their ray tracing to. Well, and another thing that they said earlier as well is that they want ray tracing to be on all of their cards. They don't want it to be on just some cards. So I think when you see the Navi line come out, I think the entire line is going to be capable of doing ray tracing.
Hey, Rand, what's going on, Rand? He says, make sure and hit that. Oh, man, I just can't say it, Rand. I'm going to change that word to like. Hit that like button and show your support for the Xbox Corp Zalker.
Yeah. Son of a bitch.
Hit that like button. We do appreciate everybody tuning into us live, guys. We're very lucky and blessed to have an amazing chat and audience that we do. You guys are awesome. Like I said, if you're here, let's try to get the 300 likes for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. But personally, D, I don't know if you agree. A lot of people I get a billion DMs every single week about this kind of stuff. Personally, after seeing Polyphony's demo, I absolutely do believe they found to enable a lower quality version of ray tracing for GT Sport, and Microsoft already optimized for this in DX12. It's one of their technologies they work on with NVIDIA. There's no way Microsoft don't do this as well. So like I said, as of right now, I'm pretty much under the impression that ray tracing is definitely coming to the next Xbox and PlayStation 5.
And like you hinted in your video, it was an excellent video, by the way. There's levels to the ray tracing, right? So, it could have low, it could have medium, it could have some hybrid in between. But I'm with you. I think these next generation consoles will have some form of ray tracing in it.
Yes, because they can even scale the draw distance of ray tracing. Everything about it is customizable. Add to that this is Gen 1 ray tracing that people are seeing how demanding it is. Add to that a few weeks ago, it already got a big performance boost on PC in Battlefield 5. They're already starting to chip away at that brute force there that's required to push this. So,
can they bring the frame rate down on the reflection? I know we've seen in some games, like in some Forza titles, they, you run a game at 60 and then the reflection runs at 30. They half frame it to save
they can like half rate the animations and reflection.
Yeah, so it saves on the overall frame rate of the game. Yeah, there's a lot to
like one or two things in the scene. Like for instance, they don't have to apply it and make it a universal ray tracing. They can window it to certain reflective surfaces, if you will, to get the maximum effect. Stuff like that. Like we've seen developers do all kinds of stuff. So Lisa Sue does say this technology is better used and suited when we do it with our partners. Microsoft and Sony are both semi-custom partners, and they want support for this technology. Keep in mind, these consoles are nearly 2 years away. People say it's 2019. Yeah, it's spring 2019. It's not even, it's right at the beginning. These consoles don't come out until the end of 2020. That's nearly 2 years. There's plenty of time for them to get this set up and, get it going and see what's up. Would you agree, D?
Definitely 2 years. Yeah, people say it's 2020. Seems like it's not 2 years, but yeah, you're right. It's 2 years. We're at the beginning of it. And honestly, to tell you, the end of this year, you're going to see ray tracing more prominent in games. And the beginning of 2020, it's going to be in a lot more games. And I would say towards the end of 2020, it's kind of going to be the norm in games.
Master debater. I know this guy. He's funny. So yeah, even if, let's say, it's not out in 2020, that doesn't mean it won't be there in 2022, 23. I think inevitably it'll definitely be something, and I think that's a very long stretch. And for those that are still like, what the fuck, how is this going to be possible on console? I went all into detail in this in my last video, so just check it out. I think I explained it and re-explained it in different ways very effectively. So once more, guys, anybody else got anything to kind of wrap this up with?
Well, just to add to your point, people thinking that it's not going to be in the next generation consoles. It's 2 years away, and at that time, the technology is going to be so much further ahead than what it is now. It's going to be the norm. It's happening. It's going to be maybe a lower level, maybe low, but it's still going to have some form of ray tracing. I don't understand what's so hard to believe about that. These consoles have to last at least 4 years. You think they're not going to have at least some of the latest technology in them?
Also, I predict the comments. Well, they already locked down 2018 tech no, they did not. These consoles do not even go into production until about 4 or 5 months before they launch. And this actually happened with the PS4 and the Xbox One. So keep in mind, the Xbox One went in production right after, or right around the end of summer 2013, and of course came out that November. So they don't start making these things a year ahead of launch, anything like that. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be very interesting. Tons of 60 FPS games and stuff. Zalker, Colt, Shady, anything left to say? Crackdown, anything, kind of give us your kind of thoughts here.
Actually, did we go over the topic that Xbox gamers are so far superior than PlayStation gamers?
Well, we already knew that. That's not even news.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. Troll face.
Troll face.
I'm just saying science is back.
I thought we all knew that the Xbox guys are a little more hardcore. Like Ubisoft had announced that Xbox gamers per console spend more money on their games as well. Like they buy more content, they're more active. You can Google that article right now instead of wasting your time commenting. Oh, you're a liar. Just Google it. It's right there.
Yeah, it takes like a minute.
Ubisoft have released information on this. I think EA have hinted at things, and now there's another survey that talks about how Xbox gamers are scientifically proven to be the more hardcore and the better gamers. Shady, are you buying this, or what's going on there?
Oh yeah, I'm buying it up, and there's only one way to prove it, and that's get crossplay going and all the main titles with, like you said, I want to see the brands that these players are playing for. I want Xbox versus PlayStation lobbies, full open chat, hardcore. It's going to be savage out there, but I want to see it, man. I want to see what's going to go down. I call it biased. I think the Xbox guys would win. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
They already do that on Steam. When I play Rocket League on Steam, I see who's on PlayStation. It says PSN. It says it on their name, PSN, and usually 10 out of 10 times they suck. So yeah, that's good. We're moving on.
I'm talking like Battlefield and COD, man. Give me full on PlayStation verse.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name right. Gilliam Delta in the chat. Spider-Man greater than Forza. Well, I have both. I played both. I beat both, and
they're both good, really good.
And they're both really good. If you want to go by the traditional Sony fan Metacritic logic, no, actually, Forza Horizon 4 destroyed Spider-Man.
92 versus 87.
But I also think you're on crack if you're directly comparing these two games anyway. So
hey, watch it.
Yeah, I don't remember my video. Who would compare these two games? I don't know who would do that. So I actually really like Spider-Man. Check out my review. So once more, guys. Anything else? Crackdown 3. Very excited. Randolph Thor's a fraud. Anything else? Nothing.
Yeah, it was good. I carried Rand yesterday in Sea of Thieves. There you go. We're gonna move on now.
Okay. Yeah, we all played Sea of Thieves yesterday, and it was, Zalker just likes to fucking troll people. So
speaking of Sea of Thieves, I watched that guy who's the #1 streamer right now that's streaming that game.
Summit.
Holy shit, he's a savage, man.
That's literally how I play the game.
That's what happens when you're going up against 8-year-old kids.
Hey, man.
Dominate.
He was pissing people off, man. They were raging.
He is. He's full on role playing that pirate, man, which is hilarious because there's some people out there that just don't get it. It's like, you're a pirate. They steal things. This is how it works. Yeah. I think that's the best part of the game to watch myself. So kudos on him for, making a big run of it. But he's the only one doing this. As soon as he logs off, the Sea of Thieves numbers go back down to their regular nothing numbers, right? So until everyone else starts doing it, this doesn't mean that everyone's playing Sea of Thieves.
No, he didn't play last night, and it was still in the top 15, and it was still there. People are starting to play the game more and more, man, because of the things being added.
Hey, Bud the Cyborg, Xbox One X is getting first prototype chips in early or December of 2016. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's too far off. They definitely had a 2016 SKU, according to Phil Spencer, that if it could have come out in 2016, but it would have been around the same power as the Pro, and they decided to hold off. So, yeah, they want to start locking down hardware, but keep in mind that that's still almost a year away. So there's still plenty of time to figure that shit out. Not to mention, you're talking about semi-custom chips here, so they can do all kinds of cool stuff there. I'm holding out hope here.
I can confirm that none of the companies have locked down the hardware that they're going to use yet. They're flirting with the idea of what they want, and they kind of know the direction that they want to go in with their secret sauce. But Lisa Su's confirmed that none of them, wasn't Lisa Su, sorry, it was one of their chief engineers, confirmed that none of them have completely locked down their hardware yet.
They're working on that secret sauce. What did Rand say in the chat? This fucking fraud.
Coming at me.
We don't listen to Rand.
He's saying that I'm pretty.
Has gamers like at All Day Digital. So yeah, Xbox gamers would be better. Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to All Day. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. We are sitting here rambling, and like I said, we do appreciate you guys rocking out with us. Hit that like button as we get into our outros. Be sure and come back and check out my thumbnail. I actually decided to do some crazy shit with it, and of course,
You always do.
well, this one's it's got Terry Crews on it. I like Terry Crews. He's a cool guy.
He is.
But yeah, we got to get into some outros. So Colt Eastwood, the naughty dog of gaming, perhaps the most dangerous man in the universe on YouTube that lives exactly in your state. What have you been playing, and where can people find you?
I actually just finished Quantum Break, and I wish I would have sat down and played it in one big session. I played it like a little bit last year and a little bit, and then a little bit, and then finished it. I'm just kind of hanging out, I guess. I'm going to be covering some Crackdown here in the next week or so. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and to kind of get people educated on what the game is going to be. I think people are going to be surprised. They're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think it's going to be a really fun game. So I think fun is the important term, isn't it, Shady?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I think that's really what the big takeaway that people are going to say. I mean, they may not say like, man, that game just blew me away. Everything looks so realistic. I think a lot of people are just going to say, man, that game's just fun and addictive. So look out for that.
Yeah. How come you're just now beating Crackdown when all you did was hammer people that didn't beat Sony exclusive? That wasn't you, Colt. Who the fuck said that?
Yeah. So people were giving me crap because it took me a while to get to Quantum Break. But I've been saying for like years that exclusives aren't the be all end all. Our favorite games, we can have a favorite couple of games that are exclusives, but man, we love games all year long. And this just happened to be one game that I finally got to. It's got a mediocre score. I'm glad I played it. I really enjoyed it. I like the little TV parts of it. A lot of people made fun of them. I actually liked them. So, heck, we like 7 out of 10 games all the time. So not a big deal.
Well, hell, people love The Order, and they loved Killzone, and they love Drive Club, and they love, there's tons of 7 out of 10 games that scored around where Quantum Break was that weren't trash, even though they had a lower rating. So just keep that in mind as well. Quantum Break, like I said, I gave it I just am not a Remedy fan. I'm sorry. I just don't think they don't capture the characters in the way that I would quite like. But we'll see how Control ends up. I'm always optimistic. I don't want any game to fail. So definitely pretty cool, man. Zalker, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
Yeah, I've been playing. Actually, last night, let's talk about it a little bit. We played zombies on COD 4. Me and Dealer did. We're fucking lost. Didn't know what the hell was happening. Followed this one guy doing everything, and we were like, Jesus Christ, this shit's crazy. We had a good time. Played it for a few hours, and I've been playing that. Sea of Thieves a little bit. COD, everything else. But yeah, you guys can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter, and then go to my channel, Zalker87. Try to put content out as often as I can, at least 2 to 3 times a week. So yeah, thanks for having us on, bud.
COD Black Ops 4 Zombies, first time I really played it. We had this guy in there who he was just basically Jackie Chan, but in Call of Duty. He was beating stuff and everything. And he was doing all this crazy stuff. Like he took a piece of wood off the ground. It didn't have anything on it that said you could pick it up. He picked it up. He put it next to a giant boiling pot of something. And then he goes and he starts staring at the skulls in the basement. He finds one and he transforms into something. I don't know what the fuck happened. So there's like a lot of secret things in that game that you really have to be in the know to even understand what the hell's going on. It's very interesting. We had a good time though. Shady, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
The last little bit, I've been playing Metro 2033 again on the X. It looks and runs fantastic. The atmosphere is just amazing. So I'm getting back into that. I'm going to beat the sequel as well before the new one, Metro Exodus. I'm super hyped for that. And I've also been playing a little bit of Just Cause 4. I recently got that as a birthday gift, and it is it's ridiculous, quite frankly. The explosions, man, they're over the top. I'm riding silos way up into the air as they blow up, then diving down into the water. I'm sticking guys to the same silos with the cables and launching them up into orbit before it blows. Like, I'm having a good time with this sandbox. I like it a lot. And then I got my nose dirty in a little bit of the indies a little bit there, propping up my gamer score for the month. But I had some good times in that as well.
my gamer score for the
That's right. Anyone who's looking to get a hold of So Shady, you can find me at the Sesh Empire. That's where I dwell when I'm not doing podcasts. You can at me anytime, DM me anytime. On Xbox, I'm just So Shady, man. Send me a message if you'd like. Maybe we can game sometime. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you out there.
Yeah, and myself, I just picked up Onimusha Warlords, and I did this because I played the fuck out of this game on the PS2. Like I think it was towards the beginning of that console's life cycle. Onimusha was it was really, really cool. It's a fixed camera angle game, but man, when I watched that, when me and Rand were talking at a party last night, and I told him to check that trailer out, and just when you watch that trailer, if you played that game on the PS2, like so much nostalgia came back. So I'd say I've already blown through probably 80% of that game in literally not even a day. I mean, it's not, you could beat there's an achievement for beating in 3 hours. So, you could, normal gamers probably be like 6 hours. I played the fuck out of it. So been having a blast with that. It's not for everyone, but it was definitely a nostalgia kick. And of course, we're always trying to figure out new and cool, interesting things to talk about on videos and kind of come up with the podcast stuff and just have a great time with you guys in the chat. So once more, thank you guys so much for what you do. We are actually going to head out of here.
What about D? Did we get D?
Oh, God, D, I forgot you again.
Yeah, the second week in a row.
No, I don't think it was
Show up on time, sir.
I don't think it was the second week in a row, but yes. Yeah, whoever just said that was correct. D, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I've been playing just a little bit of Resident Evil, and I've been playing Forza Horizon 4 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, mostly for testing purposes and trying to test NVIDIA's G-Sync working over AMD FreeSync monitor. So I've been testing that. People can find me on Twitter at D_batch and at YouTube at DBatch.
Someone, Peter Young, serves my point perfectly. He says Vega wasn't available until Q1 2018 for semi-custom. Now, Peter Young here, I don't know if he's arguing for or against my cause, but either way, I'm just going to pretend like you just sealed yourself in a coffin. Vega, like you said, Q1 2018, Xbox One X and PS4 Pro have Vega architecture elements in their Polaris GPUs, right? This has been confirmed by Digital Foundry and, of course, Microsoft and Sony. FP16 for the Pro, Delta color compression for the X. Vega features Polaris GPUs. Just because something's not available in a certain time frame doesn't mean they will not have access to some of that technology. They know exactly what's coming up. So just remember, they're not limited to consumer deadlines and time frames and all that shit. They know exactly what AMD are doing, and AMD already said they're both working on their own secret sauces, meaning something that requires custom implementation. So I'm very interested to find out what's going on there.
And Navi's coming out in June. We're going to get Navi in between May and June.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, we've kind of harped on Rand still talking about the OLED. OLED is life. Yes.
Hey, I need to touch on this real quick. The 2019 OLEDs, the C9, they're going to do 4K 120 hertz. Incredible.
That'll be great for no console at all.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just not even concerned about it. But yeah, that's really cool. But like I said, we are actually gonna and 2D. I forget about you sometimes because you're so damn quiet. That's why. So I know you're just being respectful and stuff, and I'm just letting you know. So
D's like the OG. He's like the original from when we first got rolling. So he deserves utmost respect.
Not quite. D was actually a later admission to the show, but yes. D came in later, and I've been rocking with D for forever now. So that's one of the first people I actually went to and seen if he wanted to join. So once more, guys, we're just babbling like idiots at this point. We're gonna let you guys go. We're gonna go play some games. Have a good night. We are out, guys.
Later, everybody.
Peace.
I signed it.